Hey yo, welcome to the first episode of the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. My name is Josh Plotty Plotkin. I'm here with four of my best friends who've been talking Boston sports for the better half of the last, I don't know, not half, but the past decade. And really excited to be here with each of them. And we're bringing you the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. It's going to be a weekly podcast talking about all things Boston sports. We have some great segments that we'll get into and explain to everyone in just a minute. But before we get started, I want to introduce the rest of the guys. We have first Gabe, Ship 'em Out West, Chapone. We got Eric, Big E, Matulski. We got Josh, J. Matt Matulski, and Sammy Stats Krasner from the great state of Rhode Island with us. Boys, how we doing?
Feeling good.
Hey, yo.
Good to be here.
Good to be here is absolutely right. So, all right, as we get started, we're going to go around the horn, starting with Sir Gabriel, and we're going to introduce ourselves, where we grew up, talk about the team that we have the most interest in town, and any burning thoughts that we have in our first episode as we get started. So, Gabe, the torch is yours, my friend.
Very appropriate for the Olympics going on right now.
Damn straight.
Well, thank you, Plotty, and welcome everybody to our very first episode of the Boston Sports Brothers podcast.
Let's go.
My name is Gabe. I grew up in Andover, Massachusetts, with some fellow podcasters here who will introduce themselves shortly. But my favorite team, I would say, it's hard to pick in Boston. You know, there's so many good teams, but I would go with the Boston Bruins as my number one team. Something that's burning me up right now about the Boston Bruins is this Swayman contract. I cannot believe that man is sitting on his couch or wherever the hell he is in Alaska without millions of dollars in his pockets. I mean, that guy should get paid. The playoff performance that he had, he deserves pretty much any contract that he wants. So that's burning me up right now a little bit.
That's a great burn up.
A little bit.
I think it's burning all of us up. It's about time that Don Sweeney and Cam Neely get together and figure that out with Mr. Swayman. But we'll get into that in our Around Town segment, where we talk about each team in the area and what's happening with them. So we'll touch on Swayman and the Bruins when we get to Around Town. Next up, Big E, Eric Matulski.
Hey, y'all. I'm Eric Big E Matulski. I am from Andover, just like Gabe. And, there is one other member of the team here who we have a similar last name. And, yeah, we are brothers, real brothers. Although we are all here real brothers, let's be honest. My favorite team, this is just like Gabe said, it's a tough one. We grew up in the best time, and we're all fans of all four teams. But I got to go with the Patriots. I just have a love for that team, and something's burning me up about that team, or just earlier reports out of training camp. Get that garbage out of here. You know, I don't really care how they do in the first day of pads. Let's see how they perform at game time. Let's see how they do throughout the rest of training camp. I'm not going to put too much stock in the first day of pads. Ooh.
The first day of pads had a lot of things to talk about. So when we get to Around Town and talk about the Patriots, I'm going to be ready to roll on that one. First day of pads, certainly nothing matters until we get to game time. But boy, is there a lot of things that we can sink our teeth into, my friend.
I mean, it didn't sound good, but let's be honest. I'm not going to put too much stock in the first day of pads.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens on the second and third day of pads and go from
exactly.
there. All right. Next up on the big board, Josh, J. Matt Matulski.
What up, guys? It's Josh J. Matt Matulski here. I'm from the great town of Andover, Massachusetts, in the Merrimack Valley. Man, can't get enough of us, right? You know, it's crazy. 3
for 3.
North Shore Beefs.
North Shore Beefs all day.
Three-way.
Shout out to Tessie's and Tewksbury. Shout out. All right. Moving on. So my favorite team, yeah, this is tough coming from such a sports heavy city. But I'm gonna have to go with, you know how we're brothers. Gonna go with the Patriots. Gotta go with
It's
them.
got the little ball ready to go. Look at that. Who? Nobody said to bring props today, but I love it.
I gotta go with them. They're my earliest memories of winning a championship. In 2001 when I was 10 years old. So, and thanks to them, 6 Lombardis later, over 24 years, so much thanks to them, and they got a lot of rebuilding to do, but they'll always be the Patriots. They'll always be my number one. And what's burning? It's tough. I'm actually going to pivot to the Red Sox because they're having a really tough skid after the All-Star break. We had all our hopes up, and just losing games on routine plays the other night against the Yankees, when they could have taken the series 2-0. That really is burning me up. So they got to get back on track. They got to figure it out. They are tonight, thankfully. Live right now, it's 14-3. So we're looking good.
Record.
But
14-3. Sox. It's been tough sledding here out of the All-Star break, but we can only hope that tonight. The reason I'm looking down is I got the game on the iPad right here, so we'll give live updates with that if anything happens that's noteworthy. Pivetta in the 7th inning, 14-3, as Josh mentioned. So they should roll with this one and hopefully get back on track with this. And great segue into Sammy Stats Krasner, who is, I can already tell you, his favorite sport in town is the local 9. But he's got his Hebrew Red Sox shirt on. Excellent. All right, Kraz, take it away, baby.
All right. So as Josh mentioned, my name's Sam. Everyone calls me Sammy. Whatever you want to call me, you can call me. Just don't call me late. I'm from Cranston. I'm from Rhode Island. I know both Gabe and Josh from URI. We were both all in a fraternity together. And then from there, I kind of became friends with Gabe's friend Josh Matulski, and then his brother Eric, and we kind of just over the last 10 years have just formed a really close bond. And again, we've taken our text to a podcast, and I'm really excited about it, whether it goes anywhere or it just stays kind of between us. It's something that we do for fun. I really like it. Clearly I'm a Red Sox fan, die hard, and I would have to say the number one thing that's eating me up is this whole Reese McGuire thing.
Yeah, that was an interesting little situation.
Ready to dive into that one a little bit and kind of talk about why we got Danny Jensen and all that. I see a DFA coming very soon, so we'll get into that.
Boy.
Just real quick on Reese McGuire, I heard the team was ready to go after Colorado after that.
They had to bring security and police and get them involved. Yeah, it got real. Wow. It got real.
What are you doing under that table?
What are you doing? What are you doing in your car?
Hey,
moving on.
Nick's Sporting Goods, no pun intended.
Oh God, we went there. It's fine. Anyway,
that's what this type of pod might be about, guys.
Hey, listen, everything's on the table. We're going to talk about everything. We're not going to bullshit people. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to tell it as it is as Boston sports fans, because that's what we do around here. We love it when our teams are successful. We love it when players are giving maximum effort, and we know when players aren't. And when shit's hitting the fan, it's very evident. You're not going to get things by Boston sports fans and get away with things like you may in some second-rate sports city. I won't call any of them out, but there are plenty of them.
New York.
Actually, honestly, Josh, that's a really great segue, I think, of what we want to talk about next, because we noticed someone that was slacking today during practice. That's for damn sure. Didn't get by us.
Damn sure. Let's get into the Patriots, fellas, as we make our way into Around Town. And in Around Town, we're going to talk about each of the 4 major teams. So depending on what's going on, what part of the season and calendar that we're in, will be where we lead off. And so this week it is the team down at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, the Patriots. Day one of pads today, as Big E mentioned, and uh, that was overshadowed everything that happened today from a practice standpoint by Mr. Red Sleeves and Judon. And there's a lot to talk about with this, guys, because this is not a good situation. Um, and we are now in a place where we've discussed amongst ourselves another contract or trade, and then you have today, and it's like, okay, where the fuck do we go from here? So, Big E, give us your thoughts on what we go do now with Judon after the nonsense that happened today.
Yeah, I really think there's literally two options here. Either they pay him quickly and this behavior changes, or if this behavior is a sign of things to come, I'm sorry, Matthew Judon, we're going to have to part ways. Hopefully that's through a trade, but it could also mean a cut if he's going to be a malcontent.
You think they cut his ass?
I don't think they would cut him, but I think it's really tough to ask for a raise 2 years in a row and the second year right after you got off a major injury. And I'm saying this as someone who wants to keep him. I think he's a great player. I think he can be a difference maker. But the guy is distracted right now by his contract, and that distraction either needs to be taken away one way or another, because this is not tenable and not something that I would like to see continue. Especially, I don't think it's helpful to Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo is a first-year head coach, and I know he's been in the league for a long time as a player and then as assistant for a long time. But the guy is starting to make his own program. It really doesn't make sense to have someone that's not going to go with the flow. And if that's really what's going to, be how it is, got to move on.
Agreed. I think that either give him the money ASAP or get rid of him, because this cannot continue for the rest of camp. Krasner, go.
Yeah, so the whole thing about Judon and like his antics today, he's got to go. And I honestly say obviously you don't get rid of him for whatever, but he just said he's pretty much telling the young guys that this is okay and this is how to act. And I don't think it's a good look for Gerard as a head coach to keep him on the team. Again, we've talked about how the linebacker position for the Patriots kind of has always been a revolving door. There's always been a guy there. We really don't need a Matthew Judon. Someone else is going to step up into that role. There's always been that next guy up mentality. But honestly, that's not a good look for Judon to get a contract and to get what he wants, because if he does get the money that he wants now, it's just going to tell all those rookies, oh, I'm just going to hold out and I'll do it.
I mean, and J-Matt, we'll get to you in a second, but like, to see that photo of him just sitting on the fucking stack of pads at practice, looking like he was better than every other player who's out there in the first day of full pads, like finally getting to hit, finally getting into like the real meat and potatoes of training camp, and this guy's just over there like dicking around. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? If you're gonna sit out, then sit your ass in the stadium and just chill. Don't bring this into the public spotlight. I'm heated, as you can tell. J-Matt, you're up.
So I want to hit on a few things, but can we all agree that contracts in football are the worst contracts in sports?
Oh, easily.
It's crazy the what they put their bodies through, and the fact that they're not guaranteed contracts is absolutely insane to me. I just want to get that out there. That's my 2 cents. With that being said, I do agree that Judon needs to fix his act, but from his perspective, you have to think about it and you have to look at it from his standpoint. He's not getting guaranteed money until week 1. So if he goes out to practice on a day like today where it's rainy, full day, first day of pads, he probably hasn't done a whole lot of conditioning, because to this point he knows he's going to be sitting in. What benefit does he have by putting on pads and potentially injuring himself and not getting money and not getting paid and not getting that contract? So you do have to think of it from his standpoint a little bit.
I get that, but like,
he's trying to protect himself and he's trying to make money and protect his family and protect his future too.
On the flip side,
you have
though,
to look at that.
do you think that on the flip side that the Patriots and their standpoint, so I'll play some devil's advocate here, is like they're saying you're coming off this injury. We have no idea if you're healthy or not. And we haven't had a padded practice yet where we're actually doing real physical contact. We're not going to give you a new deal or another $10 million or whatever you want to see if your bicep's going to get torn off next week in a preseason game.
So I think that honestly, he just needs to request a trade, and he just needs to cut. He just needs to get out of here because I don't think the Pats are in a position to give him the money. At his age, he's 30. He's on the back nine. I mean, he's like you just said, he gets injured a lot. So I think that they need to trade him because he needs a contract and he wants to play. I mean, don't get it twisted. I do think he wants to play, but he just wants that guaranteed contract.
Can we all agree that we think he is a talented and good player? Do we all agree on that?
1,000%.
Okay.
He might be the best player on the team.
Yeah.
He's a game wrecker.
I mean,
okay. Just want to make sure, Matthew Judon, we do think you are a great player. In case you're listening,
yes, absolutely. I think he's a fantastic player, and he does a lot to make the other things on the defense happen as well. The Patriots could all make this go away with a nice fat check from Robert. So that's there. They just have to pull the trigger. Gabe, what are your thoughts? Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
Well, I do appreciate Josh playing devil's advocate a little bit there. These players do put their bodies through a ton. They do deserve more guaranteed money in their contracts. You're 100% correct. But man, I'm so disappointed in Judon. He's always out there saying he's gonna put his mouth, where the money's at, the money where or whatever the saying is. But he hasn't really been out there, and I mean he's been out there without the pads. But today was an opportunity for him to really turn it up and just kind of ignore the noise with his contract and just play through it. And this is not like I was saying to you guys earlier. This would not happen under Bill Belichick. I'm not I'm not opposed to the Patriots moving on from Bill Belichick. I think that was needed, but it's just it's a different ball game now, and we're starting to see that, I think.
Yeah, the blanket of Belichick has been removed. I mean, you're starting to see some of the things that after 20 plus years that he covered for, and these sorts of situations that he was able to keep in-house. And, some things would leak out to the media, but, this is all out there in a way that we have never seen before. J-Matt, what's good?
Just one quick last thing about this. And now it just got me thinking, we said he's been getting injured, consecutive seasons now. Does he have trade value? Do other teams want him for what his value is? What can that could be. I don't know if that's hurting his case right now too.
I don't know, man. But at this point, like I think there's really two lanes that they have to pick from. It is either give this man his money now and make him get back out on the field and be happy with what he's getting paid, or remove the distraction from the team and take back whatever you can get back, because it's an untenable situation. You cannot have another day of him out of practice like he was today. That is just not able to happen.
And props to Plotty catching that.
Yeah. I agree. I think we should maybe move on.
Talk about the big man Christian Barmore for a second. Obviously
that's a scary situation.
Scary situation, similar to the David Andrews situation a couple of years back. Probably, sorry, let me phrase it this way. Very unlikely that he sees the field this year, it sounds like. So we wish Christian Barmore all the best. Somebody who did just get a fat bag of money was him. So, wish him all the best. They need him. He's another great player on the defense. This leads into, though, an interesting nugget from training camp today that might have been put to the side a little bit was the fact that Drew Rosenhaus was in attendance down at Foxborough. He represents Devon Godshaw and probably several other players. Kraz, see if you can find who else Rosenhaus may represent on the Pats. But let's talk
Does
Godshaw
he
for a minute.
represent Judon or no?
I think we would have heard that today.
I think he does. No, I
Yeah.
think he might. I think he does, Gabe.
Interesting, if he does. All right, but for the time being, let's talk Godshaw with Rosenhaus being there. Sounds like there was some conversations happening in the public eye. Do we all think that Godshaw should get another contract? Like, are we all in agreement there? Like, what do you do with him? At least he's out there.
Honestly, they might, their hand might be forced right now with the Barmore situation because they're really thin in interior linemen right now. Their hand might be forced. I don't know if I would have, honestly, if you had a healthy Barmore. Like, I don't know if Godshaw is worth that money, but like the situation changed today, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
He's another one of these veterans that's kind of crying about their contracts and kind of causing a scene more than helping the younger guys. And I think they're just setting a bad precedent in the locker room already. And like Josh said, if it weren't for Barmore going down, I'd kiss his ass goodbye too. Honestly, like these people that don't want to be on the team, like it's fine. Like we're starting a new era of Patriots football here, a new coach, new management. I mean, we still have the Crafts, but I think these are all just big distractions that the team doesn't need at all right now.
No, definitely not. It's not helpful. So they got to get this tied up. Biggie.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that like they got to find a way through the situation with Gotcha. I think, candidly, he's a little bit more affordable than Judon, and he does a different role in the line where you have a bigger need now with Barmore out. So I think if I were Elliot Wolf, I wouldn't just be handing him a bag, but he would be the player between the two that I would choose to keep because he's going to have a bigger impact for your defense based on some of the other things that have happened, in recent days. So while I'm not thrilled about Godshaw's behavior, it's at least been better than Judon. He at least suited up today.
He's out there.
Would you do
All right. Well,
base contract
I think
for
it's
him?
Uche.
Like, got to work for it. Get some incentive base for Godshaw. Make him.
I'm never upset with an incentive-based contract, but there's a difference between an incentive-based contract and a contract that's laden with not likely to be earned. I don't want these guys to get those types of contracts, especially in football. I think, Josh, you hit the nail on the head earlier where like these guys put their body through the ringer and they get paid like not guaranteed money. That's ridiculous to me, candidly. But also like make the incentives attainable. Not that he's going to make every single one, but most of them are ones that if he has a good year, he should be able to hit.
Yeah. I think, yeah. All right. Contract situation, tough situations at the Crafts and Matt Groh, Elliot Wolf, the rest of the
Not our money.
Not our money.
Nope, not
Pay
ours.
the people or get their ass out of here. Like, pick a fucking lane. God damn it. All right. I'm going to throw a bunch of things out on the Patriots and other things that are going on at training camp. If any of you want to chime in about these things, feel free to, and then we'll keep moving around town here. So some other things going on. Obviously, the quarterback situation right now seems like Jacoby is in firm position to be starting the year. Drake May looks and sounds like he needs some more development, but I think let him develop, let him get better. You look around the league right now, you see Jordan Love and Tua, and these are players that sat behind other quarterbacks that have just been signed to massive contracts. So anyone want to chime in on this before we go next?
Yeah, you guys remember the last quarterback we had who started as a rookie? He mentally dissipated, halfway through his second season. So I'm totally cool with letting like
or Bill and the coaching.
Well, I think there's a lot that we can pull apart there, but just for the sake of this argument, let's let Drake develop. Does that mean he needs to sit the entire season? No, not necessarily. But should he be sitting at least the first 8 to 10 weeks? Yeah, Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback at this point than Drake May is. That doesn't mean he's going to be a better quarterback by season's end.
For sure.
Yeah, and just building off that, Eric. Yeah, I find it weird that saying to sit Drake May for the year, people kind of come back at you and are not cool with that idea. I think it's becoming a little bit more accepted now that we're seeing him in training camp, and there's reports saying that he looks worse than what Mac Jones looked like in the beginning, and all this, there's a lot of just news going around, but I'm totally for building the team first, whether that's in the draft or via trades, and then letting Drake May come into a better situation next year, when he's a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more developed.
Yeah, I do think that the preseason games might give us some indication about where he's at and what level of competition he's going up against. J Matt, any thoughts on the QB situation?
Honestly, to build right off that, I don't know how much I honestly want to see him in the preseason games, because the team around
You want to see
him
Joe Milton let one fucking fly, baby?
I want to see Zappy and Jacoby, because honestly, the team around them is not good. The offensive line's crap. He's going to get killed. You just don't want to put your future quarterback in that situation, especially when they're trying to figure out the offensive line. They don't have anyone really set there except maybe David Andrews. It's like pretty much it. It's like crazy.
O-line might be a turnstile like the New York subway.
Yeah, so they just got to figure it out. We'll see. They got to build the team around him, like Gabe said. Build first, and then get him out there.
Brazil.
Yeah, and that's what, just like what Josh was talking about with the offensive line. I mean, that's kind of what they were talking about today at training camp. Was he was kind of getting rushed from his left, and he was running to his right and kind of just throwing the ball out. And I think it was Joe Murray was saying, 36-year-old Tom Brady, that's a smart play, but at a young age, they're gonna keep thinking blitz, 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 and he's just gonna run to the right and
this time.
But again,
boy, have we come a long way from where we were 5-10 years ago. It is unbelievable that you penciled in a fucking AFC championship run every year, and now we're talking about who's going to start at quarterback, contract situations. Belichick's gone. It sometimes, today felt like the sky was falling with the Patriots. Talking about our friends over at 98.5 The Sports Hub, I had to give them a call and give them a piece of our minds in terms of the Judon situation. The fact that Judon was on social media in the middle of practice and saw our post on Instagram within 10 minutes of us posting it is one of the most blasphemous things that I've ever seen from it. That's what's his name? Pablo Sandoval did that in the middle of a game. The
this
guy
is worse. This might be worse, honestly.
I think this might be worse.
At least he was going on Instagram scrolling and left and right or Tinder or whatever. But it's insane. It's insane.
Judon's here in the noise.
Point. He is. Maybe he saw our post and said, "I'm going to go back out there and go lay into Elliott and grow." At that point,
I think so. I think he heated him up. I really do.
Rosenhaus.
We fired him up.
He might have been trying to put on a show for Rosenhaus.
Did he? Is he a Rosenhaus client, Judon?
I didn't see that. I saw Godchild was.
I think him and Josh Uche is what I read.
All right. We've talked and go ahead, Gabe. Before
I
we
just
wrap
have a
on
quick
the Pats.
hypothetical that I heard today. Say Jacoby Brissett goes down. Who we going to number 2?
Like today?
No,
as of right now. Are you talking?
Say week 5.
No.
Week 5. It's May.
I don't think Bailey Zappi's making this team. So no.
Week 5, you're going to Drake May. If Jacoby goes down, he should get the shot. That's what I feel. You didn't draft.
Think about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert went down. Or when
Tyrod Taylor when they
yeah,
stabbed him in
Tyrod.
the chest.
yeah, jeez.
Yeah, but just look at Justin Herbert. He has Austin Eckler, the team. Like it's
Well, he doesn't have Austin Eckler anymore.
Chargers will be interesting. That
He
team's
did, though.
completely
That's
different now.
He did though.
Yeah, they.
I don't know,
broke up.
Gabe. For me, it's May. You drafted the kid number 3. I think we're all in agreement. We don't want him to start week 1, but like if somebody goes down or you need him to get rolling here, like at some point he's going to have to get out there and face the live bullets, if you will. So, you
It's
know,
like throw him in the fire.
yeah. At this point, like what do you have? This team has nothing to lose. I mean, if they
Either
win,
sink or swim. So that's one way to do it.
precisely. So hopefully no injuries. Let's hopefully see Jacoby have a good year and get some development. There's a ton of other things we can talk about Patriots training camp, like the different positions and whatnot, but we have a lot of other things we need to sink our teeth into as well. We'll talk more about how things develop with training camp, wide receiver competition and all those sorts of things. The line play, which, as I said, might be a turnstile. Contracts, like there's so much going on down there. I would love to get down there one day potentially as training camp's going on, and see if we can connect with some other media folks down there and potentially talk to some of the players. So more to come on the Pats. We'll be giving updates social media wise, but I think it's time to turn our attention to 4 Jersey Street, Fenway Park, where tonight, as it currently stands in real time, 14-3, top of the 8th, bases are loaded for Seattle, who just acquired Justin Turner, so he will not be coming to the Red Sox. And lots of things to talk about with the Sox. A fucking terrible start out of the All-Star break, 2-7, losing every series. Tyler O'Neill drops a ball. I think we're probably having a more favorable conversation. We've pulled the trigger on a couple trades and acquisitions. Paxton is back. The catcher situation we touched on briefly, and some kid from the Pirates today who immediately got optioned to AAA. So in reality, they haven't done much. I'm afraid that the deadline's tomorrow at 6:00, and they're going to say, "Oh, we did something. We extended Cora. Like, I got my chocolate twist ice cream here. I'm all good to go."
Christian Cassis will come back. That'll be their sign.
Yeah. So
Classic.
I mean, let's talk Sox though, because I think all of us have thoughts in terms of, the big discussion items right now. What else did they do from a trade deadline standpoint, and who do you want them to go get? And is this team legitimately in a position to make a playoff run, given where we currently stand? And we can talk about some of the things that they've brought onto the team. Cora extension on the table as well.
Well, first off, I mean, playoff run, I think it's fully capable, but it's all dependent upon the bullpen, whether or not Chris Martin can come back healthy and whether or not they're going to add any other pieces to the bullpen. I think one of the reasons why we went 2-7 on that stretch is because we didn't have a bullpen, a healthy bullpen rather, and then also, Kenley Jensen.
I find it unbelievable that Kenley Jensen pitched in the National League West and missed 3 series a year versus Colorado. Or did he just say, "I'm opting out now" from that?
So he tried it. He went up to Colorado and he pitched, and he had to get cardioverted, which essentially means they just hit you with half the amount of electricity out of a defibrillator. Yeah, to get you back in a rhythm.
Your heart.
Yeah. So he was. I believe after 2018, he was like, "Screw this! I'm not going back up to Colorado if I'm going to have my heart restarted." I mean, so
rightfully so.
Yeah. So coming to the Red Sox, you're only going there for 3 games. In hindsight, not that big of a deal. With the stretch that we were in, pretty big fucking deal, because I mean, it's a 2-7 stretch where we really could have turned things around.
You needed him in those extra inning games.
We could have been on top of the Sox, right? I mean, the Yankees right now, but we are only 1 game out of the playoffs still. I mean, it is a playoff hunt, and there's still a little less than 24 hours till trade deadline. So I mean, we still can get some pieces.
Kraz, what do you think about the catcher situation, bringing in Jansen and the whole debacle that went down in Colorado?
So this is just the writing. I mean, I was just gonna bring up some stats, and I'll let the stats kind of speak for themselves.
Sammy stats coming in, baby.
Because it's just, I mean, okay, so Daniel Jensen, he's got a 219 average, 6 home runs, 18 RBIs with a 310 OBP and a 683 OPS. He's got a 184 lifetime average at Fenway. That is fucking terrible. Okay, Connor Wong, on the other hand, he is batting 300 with 10 home runs, 35 ribbies, an OPS of 812, and an OBP of 364. And to put into perspective, Jaron Duran has an OPS of what is it right now? 849. So Connor Wong's right up there. So this definitely
Connor Wong should have been an all-star.
He should have been an all-star. So this definitely spells for me that Reese McGuire is getting DFA'd. Kyle Quantrill, who is one of the guys that I wanted, who he's a young pitcher who's really good and has a lot of control left. He said what he said, rightfully so. I don't know what the deal is between the two of them and what happened. Obviously something happened for him to say that, because he just don't go off and say, go J.O. somewhere else in a parking lot. I mean...
Jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah, jack-o'-lantern in a parking lot. And I mean, honestly, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, I guess as his teammate, I would have had his back, but at the same time, I would have been like,
yeah, sounded like they had his back. It would be great to know like what precipitated that. Why did Quantrill just decide to go off like that? So Jansen, he'll probably be there for defensive purposes if McGuire gets DFA'd. I heard Connor Wong might be playing in the field a little bit, potentially at first and second base to keep his bat in the lineup. As we mentioned, tough 2-7 stretch to come out of the All-Star break. I think the only positive that I can really say that we can all agree on right now is Jaron Duran's playing out of his mind. And continues to prove why he was the All-Star. And there's a lot going on. J-Matt, what are your thoughts on the team at Fenway Park?
They did go 2-7, but I do have some optimism because they could have easily. I mean, and this isn't great, but they could have gone. They could have won two of those games, I think, at least.
right.
They were one pitch away Saturday night. Literally, it was 2-2, 2 outs. We have to put them away, and then there was a game against Colorado where they were just looking ahead to get to the Yankees, and it was clear as day. It was getaway day, and they just were looking ahead to the next series. But in the Dodgers, they did put up a good fight. I think the Dodgers are clearly a better team. I mean, we can all agree on that. But those games they didn't get blown out. So a little bit of optimism. I do think they can turn it around. They just, they need to get on a good stretch here.
Do you think they need a big right-handed bat or a right-handed pitcher here in the next 24 hours before the deadline? Because I think that for a multitude of reasons, one or both of those moves would inject life into this team in a way that's desperately needed.
Yeah, so we lost all on Justin Turner coming back. Unfortunately, he got traded to the Mariners today. And the New York Mets have gone on a hot streak, so they're no longer going to be sellers. They're going to be buying at the deadline, especially knowing Steve Cohen and his deep pockets. So I don't expect JD Martinez to kind of be moved anywhere. So right-handed bats kind of left to be seen. We can see what's out there. Breslow might pull something out of the hat. You never know. I mean, the Trevor Story signing to me was kind of out of left field. I don't think any of us saw that one coming. So with this team, it's really you really never know. I mean, that one year they signed Kyle Crawford and what's his name? Andre. No.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Thank you, Adrian Gonzalez, and it was just like, whoa, and so I mean, yeah, it's. They can do it. They have the money to do it. Are they going to is the question.
I don't know, man. It's a lot. I don't know. I want them to make a playoff run. I want baseball in August and September to be exciting. I think we all want that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I think that we have the best manager, one of the best managers in the game in September and October, who just signed a 3-year contract. Alex
Did
Cora
not see that one coming.
did not. I don't think anyone saw
That was a
one
complete
coming,
surprise.
which was a welcome surprise. I think we can all agree on. But I just have a little conspiracy, and I'm curious if you guys can, if you agree or disagree. But I think that he might have a backhanded handshake or agreement with ownership that he's probably going to become the general manager in 3 years, because I believe that's when Breslow's contract is up, and I think that Cora wants to become a GM in the long run, and I think he would want to do it here. That's my conspiracy.
It's not out of the question. I mean,
It's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
May materialize.
I mean,
when this podcast may or may not. No, I'm just kidding. We'll definitely be doing this.
I don't think Craig Breslow definitely didn't. What's it called? I know for a fact he didn't manage at the major league level, whether he, was managing.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
R2S2.
R2S2 makes its first appearance on the Boston Sports Podcast. So as we're going to interrupt right now because Sam Krasner comes to us from a land far, far away down in Rhode Island, and he even looks like Star Wars hologram tonight here on the stream. And his laptop is aptly named R2S2. That brings us all the stats and numbers that you may hear on the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. And occasionally R2S2 has to call out and say, hey, I have something for the podcast. And if you heard that little beep right there, R2S2 just chimed in.
Said hello.
He agreed with Sammy's take.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's never been a manager. He's only really worked in the front office. So, I mean, it would be interesting to see. I mean, you kind of have a different perspective.
They're not going to flip-flop Krasner. They're not going to go Cora to general manager and Breslow to manager.
No, I didn't say that. No, I'm just saying he doesn't, where Cora has coaching experience for what? 2018 was his first year, so he's going on 5 years now. So I'm not even testing it.
It's agreeing with your takes.
Yeah, R2S2. I think he has a button that he can press to make it make a noise, and we don't fucking know about it.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to flip flop it too. I'm just saying Cora has that managing experience.
Yeah. He's more well rounded. It'd be a Brad Stevens like kind of move for him to move up into the front office. So not a bad take, J Matt. I don't know if that was a part of the conversation when he signed the contract. What other thoughts on the? Go ahead.
He wants to follow in Brad's shoes. Now that you just said that,
that's
a good thought.
Who wouldn't?
I was completely shocked by the Cora extension. I did not expect that at all. I don't think any of us really expected it. I was excited at first, like it was exciting when it first came out, and then I think the same night they lost like 20 to 7 or something to the Rockies, and I was like, oh Jesus, like here we go. The excitement was immediately gone. I thought maybe it would force their hand, the management's hand, into making some moves to make this team a better team, put them in a better position for the playoffs. But so far all we've seen are some pretty minor moves. I would like to get Buster Krasner's take on the Nick York departure, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nick York, another second baseman. You got, Marcelo Meyer right behind them. Obviously, you want all the depth you can get, but you got David Hamilton over there.
They have middle infielders up the fucking asshole. Yeah. I mean, they're well stocked there. So ship whoever we need to out west.
Yeah,
Big E
for those four.
Yeah, get those middle infielders out of the tuchus. They need to get out of there.
Yeah, they need a little Miralax.
Yeah. I do think, just real quick, last thought last on the core situation here. I'm someone who definitely, like, I've been disenfranchised by the ownership and the direction of the team. But I will say this was something that I will say has reeled me in a little bit more. I'm a little bit more interested, and I don't think Alex Cora would have just agreed for the money to come back, because I think he had a golden opportunity to be a free agent, get paid a lot more potentially in other places, because he is a name and he, clearly is one of the best managers in the game. I do think that there is an agreement of some sort that there's going to be a transformation of this team. They're going to get some of this young talent that's been in the farm system finally coming on up, or they're going to move some of them for established players, but they are going to be willing to spend here shortly. Otherwise, I don't believe that like Alex Cora would have just been like, yeah, I'm going to stay. So that's my take.
You have to
especially
hope,
with that money.
Yeah, you have to hope he has some assurances from management that the team is going to make an effort to be competitive these next several years in terms of the contract he signed. All right, same thing we did with the Pats at the end of Around Town for them. Things I'll throw out on the table. Anyone wants to chime in on these things, we can, and then we'll keep moving around town. So Tristan Casas is slated to come back and start a rehab assignment soon. So we're all hopeful that he can provide a much needed boost offensively here down the stretch, and hopefully can be a healthy contributor. Trade deadline, we've mentioned a few times tomorrow. And my last question about the Red Sox is John Henry in the penalty box now? Or is he out of the penalty box after what he did for Cora? And just so I can set the table for the penalty box is for any person in the Boston sports world that is pissing us off or has pissed us off and deserves to be in the penalty box. And you can have a lifetime ban to the penalty box and be suspended without pay. You can have a 10-minute game misconduct, a 5-minute major, or a 2-minute minor, depending on the severity of your actions. So John Henry, is he in the penalty box? If so, what penalty does he have? J-Mac.
He's in the penalty box for me.
Oh yeah, he is.
I have made a statement and a grudge. I have not been to Fenway Park yet. What is the date? It's July 28th or something like that.
July
it's
29.
29th. I have not been to Fenway Park yet this summer. I've held a grudge. I'm not giving him my money. He doesn't need it. He's got too many hands in too many sports. He's in the penalty box.
The other brother Matulski feels the same way.
184 lifetime at Fenway. Danny Jensen. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Are you putting Danny Jensen in the penalty box?
No, why are we signing him? He's in the penalty box. We're signing him. Why are we signing him?
I mean, John Henry's in the penalty box for more than just signing Daniel Jensen. Let's be honest.
But that move, I mean, you want to call that a move? That's not a move.
No. And that's why he is in the penalty box, because they've done these piddly dink moves and haven't done anything fucking serious here at the deadline. It's about time to saddle up, cowboy up.
We made some trades.
Yeah, let me get some sprinkles on that vanilla cone. In the penalty box. All right.
Absolutely in the penalty box.
Enough on the Red Sox. Yeah, as you may well tell, John Henry has a lifetime ban in the penalty box. I don't unless he opens up the purse strings and something drastically changes. He's there for the foreseeable future. Anyways, all right. Up to Causeway Street, Celtics, Bruins. Now, not as much going on. Well, Celtics, there's some things to talk about there. Let's start with them. So Summer League has wrapped up. Quick notes there. Some players, stood out a little bit during Summer League. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. And what's happening there. But the major ties to the Celtics and things going on in the basketball world right now are Team USA in the Olympics. Game 1 yesterday versus Serbia, correct? Right? Serbia, yeah. Jokic and Bogdanovic and a bunch of other
bitches. Those bitches.
So USA takes care of business, but our first talking point: Tatum, 0 minutes of action, and Jaylen Brown, 0 minutes in France. How do we feel, boys, about this whole situation? The best two players on the best team in basketball getting no fucking shine on Team USA. You want to know who else is in the penalty box? Steve Kerr and Grant Hill, fuckers.
Put him in the penalty box.
So who here believes that there's no, or Steve Kerr's whole thing about, oh, I didn't play Jason Tatum because Serbia didn't have as many wings and they were more
Tatum got benched because he decided to show up a few days late to
0
training
minutes.
camp.
That's what I
Yeah,
think,
because he
too.
had to sign his max extension for the largest in NBA history. Oh, yeah, you shouldn't get to celebrate that moment, especially right after winning a championship.
I
Crazy.
feel like Steve Kerr would know that. He has Steph Curry on his team in Golden State. I think he understands something like that, but I don't know. He's an idiot.
But it wasn't just Tatum; it was Halliburton too. Did Halliburton show
Yeah,
up late, or
No, but
He
like,
didn't play at all.
why, how does not every player get run in a game that you're up 26
Yeah.
points at the end of the game? Like, they should have touched the floor at the very least. Like, Steve Kerr
But-
looks like a fucking idiot for not playing Halliburton just as much as Tatum.
But Plotty,
This is a once in every 4-year opportunity for these guys. Let them out there and let them play, even if it's just a few minutes if the game's in hand.
But to your point, though, there were reports that Tatum was in different clothes and had his earrings in, which was an indicator that he wasn't even going to play at all. So
Maybe. Is he injured?
that was it. I think it was no. He
No.
said he's fine today. So I think it was definitely predetermined that he wasn't going to play, and there was a reason why, and we don't know.
Yeah, like we don't know why Jaylen Brown isn't on the team, although he's making it very clear that it has something to do with the whole Nike situation and a very obvious disconnect with Grant Hill. Any thoughts on the Jaylen Brown situation? Because that tweet that came out the other morning saying, Grant Hill, don't call me a conspiracy theorist, was not something you see from professional athletes very often.
No, and I think Jalen is, he's a very educated person, just in general. He's not going to just bend because other people say, hey, he sees what's going on with Nike. He sees the human crisis and he thinks it's wrong. And he doesn't want to support the brand. That's his right. But like blackballing him from being able to play at the Olympics, to me, that's ridiculous. If it is Nike that is behind some of this, which candidly, I do think that there is probably part of that is true. How much so, I don't know, but it's just ridiculous to me. And you want to just add more fuel to fire. People didn't say that the Celtics could ever win with the two of them together, and now no one believes that we can repeat. So I think as Celtics fans, we might just want to say thank you to everyone right now because
keep the hate coming, baby.
They're sowing the seeds of, hopefully what will be a beautiful repeat run here coming up.
Absolutely. Sammy K.
Yeah, so first off, Jaylen Brown left off Team USA. Jason Tatum getting DNP for no reason. Derek White getting called undeserving. Porzingis still battling, can't stay healthy talk. The 24-25 Celtics might be the most motivated defending team in championship history. That's just my whole thought on it.
And they're bringing the whole squad back to defend it, too.
The thing is let's go back to the Enes Kanter days. What happened when Enes Kanter was a Celtic? Anyone remember? The Celtics were not allowed to be broadcasted in China at all. He was very outspoken about his views about everything that was going on over there. Jaylen Brown, now the same exact thing, is getting nixed by Nike. And again, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist either, but money moves things, man. We all know that. And if Nike's pulling in billions a year for the NBA and they say, hey, no, we don't want Jaylen Brown on that team, they're going to consider that.
There's 1,000% outside influences that have say in it. And, the other part is Jaylen Brown not a part of the LeBron club, if you will, of these players that are on the team that have been in the league. Look, I have immense, as much as LeBron has tortured us over the years, and as much of a cornball that he can be at times, I have so much respect for what he's doing at his age right now. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
You can't
pleasure.
deny the
It's a
talent.
pleasure to root for
he
him.
looked like
I like
fucking
rooting
George
for him right
Washington
now.
on that boat with the flag on the river during the opening ceremony. That was fucking that's a picture that will live on forever. That was sick.
Last Celtics point for me before I think we should move on to next topic is speaking of repeats. I think the Celtics just made an amazing signing, re-signing Sam Hauser, 4 years, $45 million. The dude was nails for us all year. He had that game against Washington where I think like half the starters didn't play, and he was going to blow out the 3-point record before he landed and fell on an ankle early in the third quarter. And I think he had already shot like 10 threes at that point in the game. And his defense at certain points in the finals was stellar. So just want to give a shout out to Sammy Hauser for coming back, I think. And also, again, a huge shout out to Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens bringing the band back. So
Huge
That
best
contract's
GM
gonna
best GM in Boston right now by a mile. By a mile. Any parting thoughts on the Celtics? Anything from Summer League that anybody wants to touch on before we move to the other Causeway Street team?
Yeah, I would love to touch on Summer League a little bit. I know it's been over now for a little bit, but during our first take, we had a lot of information on Summer League. It's over now. My biggest take is Jalen House Jr. is a dog. That
Son of
guy,
Eddie.
he
are you
killed
surprised?
it. I'm not surprised, but he was so good in summer league. Like the second he went off the floor, you could tell the whole team was in disarray. They had no idea what to do on offense. He comes right back in. They go on a run. I mean, it was pretty impressive to watch. I'm excited about the future of Jalen House Jr. One guy I'm down on is Shireman. Shireman did not look good at all in summer league. He was getting posterized.
Him nor
He
Jordan
was
Walsh.
Jordan Walsh,
Oh,
another guy
oof.
who was down. He did not look good, but I'm not as worried about him. I
He
think
played in the finals.
he'll be able to work out of that. Shireman needs a lot of work. I think people are high on him to be able to hop right into the lineup or on the bench. But I don't think he's ready for that. I think he needs a lot of work still.
Yeah, the main Celtics will be a pretty good team. I know they made the G League or whatever it's called now finals last year. Any other thoughts, Celtics?
just one thing. Someone who was really great for the Maine Celtics last year, who I think is going to have an impact this year, is Keita, Neemias Keita. Keep your eye on him. When he played in summer league, he was very dominant. I think they actually sat him out for the majority of summer league because they realized how dominant he was, and they wanted to give everyone else a little bit of time on the floor. So look for him on the Celtics this year to step
I
up.
think, yeah, I agree.
Nope.
I think, go ahead.
Sorry, go
David.
ahead. I was going to say no Porzingis for the first 3-4 months, so you're going to rely on Keita. He's going to be him, Tillman, Cornette. That's going to be your front court. So you definitely, I think it was good to bring him there, but
Yeah.
I agree. Sitting him after 2 games, perfect move. You need the body for the stretch run through December, January.
Kata's
Don't
going
forget
to get a
Miguel.
real run for sure. I think the other player that we might forget about from summer league is Jaden Springer, who they got in that trade from Philadelphia mid-year. He he didn't play at all during the summer league, I don't think. So if there's 2 players that I think are on the roster for the Celtics, I think it's them. I think Walsh, Shireman, House probably start the year in Maine and are up and down throughout the course of the year. But Celtics defending champs going into the season, a lot of motivation here. Who usually summertime pretty quiet, you come back, but not this summer, boys. A lot of things going on basketball wise. But one thing other than a goaltender that we definitely need to re-sign, besides that big item with the Bruins, and we're going to shift now around town to the Bruins, is some offseason moves that I think we're all excited about to see some reconstruction of the team here as they try to get back into being a perennial cup runner year in and year out, and improve their status when it comes to the playoffs. So Bruins talking bees here. Let's start Swayman. Thoughts on that? Obviously, we need to get that done ASAP.
Yeah, I can take this one. as I said earlier in the podcast, this is what's burning me up inside. So here I go. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, like, can we just get this deal done? I'm concerned now that they are seeing something in maybe Bussy or Corpusalo, who was the worst goalie in the NHL last year statistically. I'm a little worried, like, what's going on here. I do think they get the deal done at the end of the day. There hasn't been much talk in the past couple of weeks, but hopefully that can pick up shortly. It's just it's concerning when you trade a Vesna winning goaltender and you don't have anyone. I mean, you have Swayman, but nothing's locked up, nothing's guaranteed. So it's a little nerve wracking, not knowing what the goaltender situation is going to look like going into this season, but still hopeful that they get it done.
Gotta hope. Maybe he's just gone fishing up in Alaska. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Other Bruins thoughts?
I think, Gabe, to build off of the goalie talk, I think that they're really lucky that they have goalie Bob. And I think that's a really big decision why they decided to ship Olmark out, because they know that they have Brandon Bussy from AHL, who is from Providence, who is really great. I think he's going to be an impactful player this year. And I think that you'll see maybe him take a step, but that does, I definitely agree with you, Gabe. They need to sign Swayman. But it's a blessing that we have goalie Bob. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, their goalie development's been good. If you think about it, they've really only, they've had only a handful of goaltenders over the past couple of years, and sorry, not the past couple of years, really since the Tim Thomas days. You have Thomas, Tuca, and there's been a handful of people in between since Rask retired. But they got to get the deal done with Swayman. Off-season moves, Zadorov in, huge defenseman, lays the wood, seems to be a physical imposer out there. Also, Lindholm, big acquisition on the front line and a top six forward there. So let's talk a little bit about the construction of the roster and how we're feeling about that as we head into off-season programs and probably captain's practices starting up at Warriors soon.
Yeah. So just as you mentioned, some really good free agent signings over the season, off season, I should say. Elias Lindholm immediately slots into your number one center position. I've been hearing that Zaka is going to move over to the left wing and Pops is going to play on the right wing, just due to their, chemistry in the past. Playing for the same country and all that. I think they have a good chemistry together. And then I was looking at the second line, and that's where it gets a little sketchy. I mean, you still have Marchand on the left wing, which is great. He'll give it his all for you. Second line centerman, Coyle, I would love to see him on the third line, but Coyle could play up there. He proved that this past season. Or the young guy Matthew Poitras. He could potentially step up this year and play a big role in that top six. But with Jake DeBrusk going out to Vancouver, that really that's a big hole in that top six forward line. There are some options in Providence, whether it be Fabian Lysell or Merkulov, who did have 120 points in his last 134 games with Providence. One of those guys I think is slated to step up this year. And I'm pretty excited to see some young infusion into the Bruins core.
Gabe, what do you think about don't sleep on also the talent and the development of Trent Frederick and Morgan Geekie. I also think they had really great years last year. I think Trent Frederick made a huge leap last year. So you can't forget them too. I would expect one of them to slot up. Hopefully, maybe step up to a top 6 potential. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Bruins are at an interesting time. They got young talent that they're hoping to come up and make contributions. They're hoping to develop some players, and they have some veterans on the team. So, I think as we always say with the Bruins, make the playoffs, and once you get into the Cup playoffs, anything can happen. So, we'll keep tabs on that as training camp gets going right after Labor Day, September. Which I can't believe is coming up, as I said in our test episode, if you will. Don't sleep on August though. Don't let summer end early here. We got a whole nother month to go. Whole nother
No,
month.
summer is still well and alive. So
Damn right. And with that, Summer Olympics, something that happens every 4 years. Anything else that we want to talk about Olympics wise? We touched on USA basketball and that whole situation there. USA in the lead when it comes to the medal count as of earlier today. The peacock, the cock, the gold zone on the cock is pretty good. They do a good job of, whipping that thing around and going sport to sport.
I'm gonna give YouTube TV a huge shout out here too, because like they do the quad box, so you can watch 4 different Olympic things going on at once. Fantastic content.
Hold on, pull for the group here. Quad box or cock box?
Cock box is the future.
I think.
I have one small take. Can we all agree that the opening ceremony is just way too long?
Way too long.
It's just crazy. What's the point?
5 hours to watch.
Also, 5 hours was like, it was like 8 hours.
Yeah.
It was insane. I took a nap. I woke up. I was like, is it still going on?
We've made it from Austria to New Zealand, and it's only 6 hours later. The funniest part
is so far away.
The funniest part of the opening ceremony was you see all these fucking boats coming down the river, and you see the USA on this massive ferry with 600, 700 people. And then you see someone you see some country you've never heard of on a fucking dinghy with 3 people. It's like
with like 3 other countries on it too.
And isn't the whole point of the opening ceremony that all the athletes get to walk into that stadium where they typically do it and get that round of applause and that feeling? If there was some little boat going by, there wasn't a French person who gave a flying fuck about them, like.
So I kind of disagree, but
oh my God, you liked it?
No, I didn't say I liked it. I thought it was very French.
Yeah.
But I liked the twist of getting it out of the stadium and having it
the river was cool.
different,
I agree.
a different feel for the opening ceremony. I like that. I do understand your the discrepancy of the U.S. boat to like Afghanistan or whatever. Like it's just incredible the difference. But yeah, it's just the opening ceremony. What can you say?
One thing, speaking of the river, which is just kind of weird in general, but the Seine, that's the river that goes down.
Sure, you said that correctly.
I don't know. Who knows? We don't know. I don't know. But I might not have. But I don't know if you guys know, but all of the sewage system runs into the river in Paris, and it's been polluted for known for over 100 years now. And whenever they have flash big rains they had the other day, it actually floods back into the river, and that's where they're supposed to be doing triathlons. And I don't know if I want to be swimming in that river, to be quite honest. So
good thing none of us are.
Put the CN in the penalty box. Put it in the penalty box.
The river is in the box.
Put France in the penalty box.
Perfect. It's in there with John Henry.
Be interesting to see if we have any feedback from any of the swimmers from the river. Krasy, you got any Olympic hot takes over there?
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how true this is, but apparently I guess there was that, the whole controversy with the show and all that. And, to me, the show was whatever, but what I thought was the most interesting and, was when they did the whole thing out on the table. I guess one of the guys, his genitalia was exposed a little bit, and
Whoa.
yeah.
Getting very
If you
French.
If you just Google
Penalty box.
if you just Google Olympics nudity opening ceremony, you'll get quite the laugh.
That's our most recent Janet Jackson moment.
I
You'll
guess
see
so.
You'll see
Oh my
you'll see
god.
something coming out of some shorts.
Nothing any of us need to see, to be honest. Keep it in your pants. That's all we can
Go
say.
USA.
Go
Is
USA.
it time for some oh yeah moments?
It's time for some
I would think so.
yeah moments. All right, just to set the table here for yeah. It might be one of our it might be the most favorite segment we have here on the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. So yeah moments are moment is a like I cannot believe that this is happening right now kind of moment that is just like perplexing, or you can't believe it's going on. It's a yeah, oh my god, I cannot believe it. And then oh yeah is self-explanatory. It is something that's great that's going on, something that we're excited or amped up about. So we're gonna go around the horn for yeah, oh yeah. Krazel, we'll start with you. We'll work our way to J Matt, Gabe, and then Big E to wrap us up. And then I'll indulge in a little yeah, oh yeah as well to wrap things up. And we just concluded our around town segment. So, if you don't give a shit about one of the sports, skip through it. We don't give a fuck. Just listen to what you want to listen to. Tell your friends about the podcast. Let them know that it's five dudes having a good time. Yeah, oh yeah. Kraz,
All right,
go.
so mine's blended, and it has to do with the whole Judon situation today. Obviously, that was insane and shouldn't have happened. When we looked at our story on our podcast on the Instagram and saw that blue check mark and saw that he was looking at it during practice, that was just like completely blew my mind that he would even do that. So that's a yeah oh moment, and the oh yeah moment is you calling in and hearing Josh and Dedham on the phone. That was. You killed that.
Credit to Big Jim Murray, who
Jim Murray.
In the past I've exchanged a couple DMs with. Great guy.
Jim Murray.
Have been to a couple Felger and Maz events around town over the past couple of years, so I've gotten to meet them as well. They're good dudes in person for sure. And no, it's just like I cannot believe that we have evidence that this guy was on his fucking phone in the middle of practice today, looking at a startup podcast page, calling him out for what was I just said it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for him, and it's embarrassing for the Patriots. And
It ain't embarrassing for us.
Hell, it's fucking great for us. You want to engage with us right now? We'll take all the engagements. So, and Felger and Big Jim, they like the take. We gave them a little bit of information to chew on, and it's crazy. It is crazy that he was on his phone in the middle of practice. If that somehow made its way to Elliot Wolf or Grow or the team, I'd go to him with that and be like, you want us to resign you and you're dicking around in the middle of practice when everybody else is out here busting their ass? Like, get the fuck out of here. Gabe, where are we shipping him?
We're shipping him out west.
Out
Let's
west,
go.
baby!
Get rid of him.
All right. Great. Yeah. Oh yeah, Kraz. Definitely was a hell of a day on the Boston Sports Brothers podcast social pages. That's for sure. J Matt, what's up with your yeah?
Honestly,
Oh yeah.
I don't even need to go after that because yeah, they can't follow it up because that was you said it perfectly, Sammy. That was the thing I was gonna say. So you nailed it.
Excellent. Gabe E.
You go.
Yeah, I got to know. Yeah, you guys may have seen in the news that there was a new NBA media deal, and everyone's beloved favorite pre and post game inside the NBA on TNT. TNT matched the rights of Amazon to be able to, have the NBA on their network, and the NBA declined the match and is going with Amazon. So big oh yeah for the TNT, Amazon, and NBA lawyers. They're going to be racking up those legal fees throughout the next year or two to come. So good for those guys. Those big giant law firms making lots of money.
They sure are. They're raking it in.
Yeah, I
Everything.
think just following up on that, my initial reaction was a little sad to see the TNT group disbanding. But I've heard rumors that Amazon is keeping in touch with some of those people. So hopefully,
Sounds like
you
they
know,
want to retain the whole
promising.
inside the NBA crew, which would be great.
They'd be
That would
stupid
be
not
nice.
to.
I
Yeah,
think Chuck,
seriously.
Shaq, and Kenny are down.
They're
But
on Emmys.
Ernie has a lot of loyalty to Turner Sports and TNT, so it'll be interesting to see if he does it. But look at every other media personality in the game in broadcasting. I mean, they work for multiple networks. I think Kevin Harlan is the best example. He's doing TNT, he's doing CBS football games. Kevin Harlan might be the hardest working broadcaster in the game right now. Him and Ian Eagle, I think, are the two at the top of their games right now in terms of broadcasting. But this is a debate for another day. But the whole streaming situation when it comes to sports is really killing my fucking cable uh, argument here in terms of sticking with cable for as long as I have. And I haven't cut the cord yet. I like being able to press I'm an old man when it comes to cable. These guys know it. They've all cut the cord route with streaming, which I respect, and they're saving a couple shekels, but I don't know. For me, I who the fuck knows? See, I can't even keep track of it.
Comcast, FiOS, if you guys need a pitchman, a spokesman, Josh Blocken is your man.
Yeah, I'll please sponsor us.
You want to sponsor us? Yeah, please.
One thing for
I will get the cord back if they sponsor us.
All right, yeah, I think we all get the cord back instantaneously. Here's two things on this situation because it drives me fucking nuts on this regard. The first one is if you're a loyal customer to cable, give me a goddamn price break. Don't jack my rate up every 6 months another $20 or whatever the fuck it is. I've been using you forever. Give me a break. I'm a loyal goddamn customer. Second, if they figured out streaming and how to bounce around the apps without it being a fucking shit show and having to exit, re-enter your password, all the nonsense, I'd be in for streaming in a heartbeat. But it takes 8 minutes to change the fucking channel. Figure it out. Figure it the fuck out. And then YouTube TV doesn't have Nessun. Then you got to get the shit Nessun Pro. That is a The streaming situation when it comes to sports is a They could do so much better, and they fuck it up royally.
Buckle up, Lottie.
Nessun 360. That app sucks.
Trash. Absolute fucking trash.
Oh wow.
I got one more moment. It's not as popular as some of our other ones, but it did remind me of the Patriots and Bill Belichick and their Spygate extravaganza they had there. So I guess apparently the Canadian soccer coach.
My home and native land. Go ahead, Gabe. Sorry.
She upped the ante on Bill Belichick and used a drone to spy on other teams' practices. She was effectively suspended from the rest of the Olympics.
Belichick got off easy, eh?
That they took it to another level. I thought that was pretty impressive.
The Olympic Committee doesn't fuck around, so
hit him with the -6. They did. Hey. -6 now.
Yeah, well, you can't be doing that.
Find out.
All right. Well, may I indulge in a very quick story because I don't think any of you have been to Fenway Park this season, have you?
Not yet.
Not for a fucking thing.
Talk to my buddy.
I'm very fortunate to receive some perks from Mrs. P and get to attend some games from time to time. But I ended up at Blink 182 concert last week. And let me just say, Fenway concert experience, and we've all been to Fenway for a concert. Third baseline, first time on that side of the stage. Great. Highly recommend if you're going to Fenway to be on the third baseline.
Would you say it was better than the first baseline?
In my humble opinion, yes. Okay. Second, Travis Barker was worth the price of admission. We are all big fans of John Mayer. He was what John Mayer is to the guitar, what is Travis Barker to the drums. That man on the drums was something else. It was fucking unbelievable. So two little oh yeahs in that part of the Blink 182 experience. Good crowd, good night, beautiful weather. But you can't go to Fenway Park without a couple yeah ohs. And concert gets out, and you guys aren't going to believe this. Blink 182 ends. No encore. Walks off the stage. Guess what song comes on at Fenway Park? After Blink 182, a rock concert for, the hour 45 minutes. What song comes on as Blink 182 literally leaves the stage within 10 seconds?
One guess. Sweet Caroline.
It was the most heinous John Henry twisted ice cream cone that I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Now we're doing this after fucking Blink 182. We have to do it in the 8th inning if we're down 20-7 to the fucking Colorado Rockies. And I just saw a Blink 182 concert that didn't have an encore, and I have to sing Sweet Caroline now. Are you
Read the room, John.
kidding?
Read the room, John.
What are we doing?
That's an ice cream cone in a cup.
Blink 182 can't come out for an encore, but we can play Sweet Caroline. Like, did they get like a payment when they play Sweet Caroline? It is. I couldn't believe it. I literally turned to Mrs. P and the other people that I was with at the concert and said, "This is the most Red Sox fucking minor league bullshit that I've ever seen." So Sweet Caroline, and my other this is it for the concert. So we leave, and as you know, getting an Uber out of Fenway right after a concert or a game can be a little bit expensive. So sometimes you indulge in the Lansdowne Street scene for a little bit to wait for those prices to come down. Go into the beloved Bleacher Bar, and Bleacher Bar is great because more often than not, it's not too crowded. It's just a crew looking to get a drink after a game. But this was when they were playing Colorado. The Sox weren't on any TV in the Bleacher Bar. I could not believe it. And I didn't want to be the fucking asshole that went up to the bartender and was like, do you know that you're the fucking Bleacher Bar and don't have the fucking game on right now? Like,
the team that plays on the field that's right there.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. I can't even fathom, I can't even.
How are you literally in center field of Fenway Park when the team is playing and you don't have the game on in your bar? So John Henry probably has something to do with the fucking Bleacher Bar and just penalty box forever. Matulski, you look repulsed by this. J-Matt.
He doesn't want to go.
Gross. It's just gross. Like, I don't get it. You're at Fenway Park. Socks on. Play them. Doesn't make sense.
Insane. Yeah.
You can literally see center field. Like, it's crazy.
It was insane. I couldn't believe it. I mean, great show, great time, but those two things at the end of the night just irked me so much to a point of I understand why some people feel the way they do about that entire organization. And not just the team, but the entire Fenway Park experience and everything that's happened around the park over the last decade or so, how they've transformed that area in some ways very nicely, in other ways like that. It's just it's just a commercial area at this point.
It doesn't need to be Disney World. Fenway was special enough as it was, right? And I'm not saying the renovations they made have been fantastic. The green monster seats, fantastic. The right field roof deck, fantastic. They changed out the seats. They've done a great job from that aspect. It doesn't need to be a Mickey Mouse operation every single time. We don't necessarily need to hear Sweet Caroline every 7th inning. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Not gonna stop.
Well,
Think cats.
Yeah. But as you can see, still on my head, still love them, still always going to support them, despite all the nonsense that might go down over there. We're still fans. We still want them to make a playoff run. We still want them to be good. So we're here to support the team, but we're going to call it like we see it as well. All right. Any other ohs? I think otherwise, let's talk penalty box. Who's in the penalty box as we head into next week? Judon, for sure. USA basketball management, meaning Steve Kerr and Grant Hill, for this whole debacle when it comes to Brown and Tatum, and just being transparent whatsoever. And as always, John Henry.
And Reese McGuire.
Don't forget the CN. The CN is also in the
yeah,
penalty
the
box.
Yes.
Yeah,
Put
the
all of
Rivers.
France in there.
I'm
the
putting
shitty box.
Reese McGuire is going in there for what he did outside that Walmart.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, not great, not great. All right,
That jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, and we all stayed out of the penalty box tonight. So good job, everybody. Good job. First episode, not too
Very well
contentious
behaved.
by any means. Yeah, so
far.
far so good. Yeah, round of applause for us. It'll be interesting because we're all about to be together for a full weekend, and will tempers flare? Who knows? We'll tell people where we're going on the Pike coming up right now. So the Pike is our final segment of every Boston Sports Brothers podcast, where we're going to talk about the week ahead, what's coming up, what are we looking forward to, what are we not looking forward to, and we'll end the week on that note in terms of the Pike. The Pike is brought to us by the Mass Pike because, as we talked about before, it can be the best road in the state or it can be the worst fucking road in the state. So it can take you how long, Eric, to get from Eastie to Brookline?
Right now with the Sumner closed, it's like over an hour.
Sumner
Normally 20, 25 minutes.
What bridge is closed?
The Sumner Tunnel is closed. They're doing construction. They're opening it back up on August 5th. So next Monday.
Yeah,
Thank
until Mayor
God.
Wu comes around and says, yeah, we need another 3 weeks.
Well, we're
Mayor
gonna do
Wu,
this road.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Mayor Wu, stay out of the penalty box. That's all we can say.
You will be in the penalty box firmly.
What's the governor, Healy? We're not going to do politics on this show. Anyway.
No politics.
No politics.
Stay
But
away
boy,
from
is there a can of worms that we could go down in this state when it comes to everything going on, living in the great town of Dedham and what's happened down the street over the past couple months. Anyways, all right, the Pike. Things coming up this week. Chime in on any of these things, fellas, as we wrap things up. Olympics going on. USA basketball will be our main focus in USA competition in general. We'll do it
tomorrow.
USA.
We'll do an Olympic
Tatum.
deep dive. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Tatum gets some run. We'll do an Olympic deeper dive next week, especially if we don't get any news when it comes to the Celtics or Bruins, really. So we'll shift focus to the Olympics. Training camp situation, what's going on there? Will Judon be here by the time we get together next week for this podcast? Who knows? And then we'll have a preseason game to get to. Yep. Trade deadline coming up tomorrow, so we'll talk about any other moves the Sox make. Tough schedule coming up. Win in the books tonight. Believe the final score was 14-7 at Fenway. So need to win series coming up. Tough stretch. They got the Mariners. They got all teams with winning records that are close to, if not in playoff spots. So it ain't going to be easy for them. And then lastly, and Josh Matulski, this is really a moment for you to take the stage if you want. But we're all headed up to see some ponies this weekend in Saratoga in celebration of Mr. Matulski and his very soon-to-be upcoming wedding to the beautiful soon-to-be Mrs. Matulski.
And you want to know what we're going to be doing? We're going to be taking the Pike to get there.
Last match, guys. We'll be betting on some ponies and we'll be getting shitty, that's for sure.
Oh,
next week,
yeah.
there will be some pony talk, and we will let you guys know how we fared at the track.
Yes, we will. You may even see a live update from the track. Who knows?
You might. You probably will.
May,
check the socials.
We may tune in.
We'll have our nice pants on.
Seersucker suits. Yeah, blazers. We're gonna be looking nice. We ain't going to the track looking like a bunch of schlubs. Our parents taught us better than that. Although if Krasner could wear sweatpants to the track, he would. He's got khakis ready to go.
I got my khakis ready to go.
All right. Anything else on the Pike, boys? Anything else you're looking forward to or that you're really dreading in the week ahead?
No, I hope that moron pays attention to the road and goes when he's supposed to go.
Let's win on some horses. That's what I'm focused on.
Let's win some money up in Saratoga. All right, boys, this has been a fucking adventure. We had a time tonight. And first episode, Boston Sports Brothers podcast. This one's probably going to be a little bit longer than what we usually do, but we had to get introductions out of the way. We're feeling our way through this. You know, we're new to this. We ain't podcasters. We just want to come on and shoot the breeze and talk to the people and engage and hopefully provide some entertainment to folks. So that's going to do it. First episode, Boston Sports Brothers podcast in the books. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure and an honor. For the good and welfare, I give my good and welfare. Good night, boys.